Hello and welcome to another IELTS speaking practice video by IELTS Johnny. So today, class IELTS 43, they are going to do their regular speaking practice. So let's start with part one. And there are some questions in part one I would like to ask. The first question is about reading. So the first topic is about reading. So Miss Chow, please. Do you like to read books? On what kind of books do you like to read?
Well, honestly, I don't really have a lot of time to read books, especially in school days, um, because I have to spend a lot of time doing homework and assignment. So I barely have any time to read books, but of course, for me, I still like to read books whenever I have time, especially in the summer break. I'm really into the books, which uh, I'm really into those kind of books that
So
teach
what
me
makes you so
about
interested in those kind of books?
um, what makes me interest about these kinds of books is because um, the the basic I
Yes.
love the basic storylines which don't appear much mm, big events, just a normal life of a person, and just talks about their childhood or their school days. And most of those books I like are about moral lessons. So those are the kinds of books that I'm really into.
Okay, very good. Trúc, how about you? Do you like to read books? And what kinds of book do you like to read?
Oh, I love reading books,
Hmm.
especially novels.
Novels. Novels.
Novels. Some genres such as detective, dramas, and thriller. That's my
In
favorite.
horror thriller genre, right?
Yes.
Genre. The horror thriller genre and other kind of genre, right?
Yes. Uh, um, I uh, I feel scared of when I reading this kind of books. However, it made me feel curious and interesting
Interested
and interesting. I
and
can
interested in it.
interesting and I can read cover to cover. At the weekend, I can read 1 to 2 chapter, not
Chapter. One or two
chapters
chapter.
of my favorite books, and finish is in 1 to 2 weeks.
All
It's
right.
my
So how often do you read then, Mr.?
oh I don't have mm, I don't have much time for reading as a hobby. Um, at the weekends when I have a little free time, I love reading books on my bed.
Mm-hmm.
Just relaxed and feel very comfortable. Some common genres like romantic novels,
Genre. Some common genre, you mean?
common genres,
Genre.
genre,
Genre.
genres.
It's a word they borrow from French language. Genre. It's genre.
Genres.
So, Miss Zhao, do you have many books at home?
Well, I could say that I have quite a lot of books at home. Most of them are given as gifts from my uncles and my family members. Well, honestly, there are some of them that I don't read much because it's not in the type of field that I'm really interested in, and I don't have much no, I don't have much understanding about it. But yeah, I could say that I have a lot of books, and
Yes.
but I only read them when I have time.
Okay, so Miss Zhao, let's move on here. You often buy books. You know, buying books and reading books are two different activity. Some people, they just love to buy books because they want to buy things, you know. They want to show off their wealth, show off the fact that they like to buy books, you know, but they don't actually read. So do you often buy books?
Well, to be honest, I don't really often purchase books. Like I've mentioned, uh, the books that I owned are given from the people I know. For me, buying books is quite expensive, and I think I have to use my money for other problems. So for me, the reason why I don't often buy books is because the books um that
Interest.
I'm interested in about the topic mostly are quite expensive.
Hmm. Wow, you have expensive taste, aren't you? You know, some people, they just have very expensive taste. They love to read books about, and then those kind of books are often foreign and they are expensive. Well, sometimes I do have that, so I understand. How about you, Miss Trúc? Do you often buy books? Sorry.
I don't really often buy books. I usually reading book online in some uh in, in some apps about readings. You know, many books nowadays are very expensive because the course what make it are
Can you
very
say again? Can you say that again?
I don't really buy books very often because it's quite expensive for a book
Okay.
nowadays. I usually read books online by apps. It's quite cheap, and you don't need more space for content your books.
Content.
Con- contents your books. I think it's quite really like this.
Sorry, what do you say? It's really what?
It's really idealized.
Idealized? What?
Lý tưởng đó thầy.
Idealized.
idealize.
It's idealized. Bị lý tưởng hóa ha. Why am I coughing?
It's I think it's quite very good for people who don't have more have many space, have much space in their home for their books. You just need a phone or a computer, and you can connect to every website to read.
Good, very good. So, Miss Châu, do you like to read printed books or electronic books? We call them e-books these days, you know. Which one do you like to read, Miss Châu?
Well, whenever it comes to this type of question, I would say that printed books have always been my priority. Because for me, electronic books are are really bad for my eyes. Because I have a lot of problems relating to my eyes. So whenever especially when I read books on this.
Just a moment, please. Can you give me a moment, please?
Yes.
Okay, so what did you say? Well, Mr. What did you say about printed books and electronic books then?
Oh.
What do you think about them? Which one do you like to read more?
To be honest, I like to read printed books than electronic books. Because I think that printed books give me a physical feel, including turning space and the feel of about some things realized.
Sorry,
That be
which
real.
which one is better in what cases? What do you think?
Printed book
Cẩn thận
you,
cái cách đọc từ từ thôi. Let's just do it slowly. So printed books or electronic books. So which one is better?
I think printed books are better because it can provide me a physical feel. Make me feel.
Feel, right?
Yes,
So
it's really real. And
the
if
real
you
feel,
find,
let's say the real feel of touching, and reading each and every page, isn't it? Cảm giác thực sự của chuyện đụng vào và đọc mỗi một cái trang vậy đó. Does it help you have a real feel of touching and reading each and every page, something like that?
yes, and it's quite easier on the eyes. Doesn't involve screen blue light. It's not good for your eye health. And when you
mean it's not good for my eye health, isn't it? You mean?
Yes, it's not good for my eye health.
Okay.
And reading a real books have me stay focused. There's no notifications and apps to distract me of reading. I think that electronic book can't not do.
Electronic nhưng bà nha. Electronic books.
Electronic books cannot do.
Okay. Okay, so what do you think, Miss Chow? Which one do you prefer to read? Printed books or electronic books? And in what situation do you prefer something like that?
Um, personally, I would say that printed books have always been my priority. Because electronic books usually um electronic books usually negatively affect my eyes, especially when I read the paragraphs for a long time. It makes me feel really dizzy and exhausted, because seeing a lot of words on the screen really affects my eyes. And the reason why I wanted to read printed books is because I can be more focused on the topics in the books I'm reading, and it would be much more relaxing to read on
Relaxing?
yeah
I think it also
um
depends on what kind of screen you are looking at, because electronic books, if you look at with like a better screen, higher quality screen of a device, it will not strain your eye that much, you know. Like traditional machines, like cheaper ones, they use older technology and it strains your eye. It basically makes you feel like, oh, stressed or strain. It strain your eye, you know. Okay, so Miss Chow, do Vietnamese people do enough reading? Why not? You know, like about 20, 30 years ago, maybe we did, there's a lot of reading activities for Vietnamese, but to be honest with you, these days people are on the phone most of the time. So what do you think, Miss Chow? Do Vietnamese people do enough reading? Người Việt có đọc đủ không?
um, from my perspective, in the contemporary society nowadays, people tend to be on their mobile phones most of the time, and some of them tend to neglect reading a lot, so it leads to the lack of knowledge they should have obtained. But it's undeniable that there are a lot of people, Vietnamese people, um, still manage their reading habits. So they not so they can attain a lot of knowledge in the books. I believe that instead of I believe that contrary to those who don't do enough reading in Vietnam, there are still a lot of the individuals who still read a lot in order to keep the
to keep connected,
tradition.
to stay connected with new knowledge, to keep themselves updated with new informations. You know what I mean? Right. So
Yes.
yeah. So what do you think, Miss Trúc? Do Vietnamese people do enough reading? Why not?
I I don't think that most Vietnamese people like reading books much, and they seems to not have the habit of reading. However, I think in the young people,
You mean young generation?
yes, generations, their parents knows about the importance of reading books more, so they help them to
Reading or reading?
reading more.
Reading. Mày kéo dài rồi nha.
Reading. reading more. So they help them to cultivate their passions in reading, create their habits, very good habits, because everyone should know that reading book enrich your knowledge and spiritual life.
Sorry, to enrich your knowledge and
spiritual life.
spiritual life. Spiritual life. You mean nó làm giàu cái đời sống tâm linh ha? You mean
tâm hồn?
Tâm hồn ở đây là không phải là spiritual nha. Remember, spiritual means like ghost spirits and higher beings, những cái thực thể mà nó cao cấp hơn higher beings. So the right word here is not spiritual life. The right word here is I think intellectual life. I think intellectual life, đời sống mà gọi là trí thức á, đời sống tri thức á. To enrich your knowledge and intellectual life, I think it's the right word here. So, Ms. Châu, in your opinion, what is the best place to read? Because some people, they just like, they bring books to cafes, you know, and they do that, they read over there, or they just go to museums, sometimes like on the park, sometimes they read books in the library or at home or on the bed, something like that. So in your opinion, what is the best place to read?
People can read books in anywhere they like, but personally, I think that the best place for people to read books are the places which are as quiet as possible. Because of course, you cannot just read books in the places which are loud and noisy. It can just drive you to distraction wherever you're reading. I could say that the places which are peaceful will also absolutely makes your reading become more effective, as you can stay more focused on the things you're reading. And you will feel less annoyed by the noise disturbances around you.
I do agree with that. Now, so Mr. Wu, in your opinion, what's the best place to read then? And why do you think it's the best place?
For me, it's a quiet place, such as in the garden or in a cafe. Are the best place to read. I believe that nowadays there are more options for people to read, like some kind of some kinds of book cafe.
Book cafe, yeah. There's something cafes, yeah, exactly.
Where you don't need to bring your own books to
bring,
read.
Right? You don't need to bring your own
You need
books, right?
to bring your own books. There are many kinds of books are there, and you can choose any ones of them and enjoy at your table. And of course, because it's a place for reading, so it's very it will be very quiet and people don't make noise, so you can enjoy your times perfectly.
I see now. So, Miss Chow, what kind of people like reading and what kind of people don't? You know, it depends on like their personalities, depends on I think mostly personalities, and were they brought up or were they raised in a family in which their parents also and their siblings also like to read or not. I think that's the most important thing. So what do you think, Miss Chow? Because it's like you cannot expect a person to like reading and being raised in a family where their parents doesn't like reading. I mean, I may be wrong, maybe they pick up that habits from their friends, but most of the cases I think it's like that. So what do you think, Miss Jiao? What kind of people like reading and what kind of people don't?
Well, for me, I think that those who like reading, they tend to be really hardworking in getting more knowledge, and they want to understand more about different situations in all fields through books. Um, and also, I think that the type of people who like reading books, they tend to most of them may the have picked up the habit of reading from their parents or their friends. Um, Maybe some of their family members encourage them to read, so it makes them feel more interested in reading. And on the other hand, those who don't like reading, um, I guess they prefer to live um, more depend on the internet, and mm, it's
Yes.
because of that reading is not their um, favorite hobby to do. Uh, they want to do outdoor activities or communicate with people around more. Um, that's why I think that they don't really like reading as much as those who um, love reading.
All right. So what do you think, Mr. What kind of people like reading and what kind of people don't?
In my opinion, I think that most people will like reading something entertaining and enjoyable rather than books about something more serious like science or reference books. In this, if they don't really need for their study or something like that. It's like me, I really like reading comics. It's also a kind of books, but it's not so so much it's
So
not
basically, there's just like a
difficult.
lot of pictures and there are a lot of pictures in those kind of books and not so many words, right?
Yes, it's not difficult to grasp the contents.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's not that difficult to grasp the content? Try to read Detective Conan. Em có chắc không? Chắc là không nha, chắc là không hề khó để nắm được nội dung không? Coi thử thách tử lừng danh Conan coi. Is that actually is that is actually I don't think that it's easy to grasp the content. It depends on what kind of comics you're talking about. You know.
Oh, because I reading for fun, so I choose what I choose comics for children's. That make me feel relaxing. You don't need to pay much attention in 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 grasp the main idea.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So let's go to the next one. So this is 12, right? Okay, 13 already. Let's try 14 about studying math. So, Miss Chow, please, when did you start learning math? So when you start learning math, maybe which grade? Was it grade 1, something like that? You still remember those days, no?
Yes, I still remember. I started learning math when I was in third grade. No, in the first time that I started learning math when I was in kindergarten. Of course, at that time I only got a chance to learn basic math problems, which were really easy. And the math problems then got really difficult throughout the years, and I've been learning math for around 10 years.
10 years, do you
now.
think it's enough? And do you like math, Miss Chow?
Well, for me, honestly, I don't really like math. I could say that it's mostly because I don't have a head for figures. It's for me, it's very hard to understand different calculations and formulas. Those are, I could say that those are my nightmares whenever I think about it. Yeah, I could say that I don't have a talent for doing math at all. So that's why I don't like mathematics.
I see. What about you, Trúc? So do you like math?
I don't like maths because I think it's very hard to me to good at
You mean it's hard for you to be good at it, right?
Yes, to be good at. Even though I still achieve decent grades, but I don't think I pay enough attention in learning math. When I was young,
You mean when you were younger?
Were a young student in elementary school. I think I thought that math was good because it was quite easy and the teacher was very kind.
You mean no longer kind? Because you use past tense, that's why I was like, So are they no longer kind? Họ không còn tử tế nữa à?
because I don't know sure about her now.
Okay. You don't know
Okay.
how she is right now, right?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
I see. So, Mr. Who taught you math? Do you still remember your teachers?
Oh, I can't remember all of them, but one person that made deep impressions in me is my math teachers in secondary school.
Mm-hmm.
He's was a very strict teacher.
A very
She
strict
has
teacher, right? A very strict
yes a
teacher.
very strict teacher, and he has a very strange style in teaching. I don't know how to
Explain.
describe,
I see. So, Miss
but
Chow, please. So Miss Chow, do you remember your math teacher, Miss Chow? I have to go faster. No, sorry. So, Miss Chow, so do you remember your math teachers?
Um, yes, of course. I remembered all of them actually.
Oh,
And there's this one teacher that I mm, she had there's this one teacher that has had helped me a lot in my studyings is the teacher that taught me in grade 9. It's mostly because I've had attended her classes mostly every day. Um, Extra classes in the evenings, and whenever I have any um, difficult tasks or exercises, I usually came to her house and asked for help. Um, and she was the one who helped me. Who she was the one who um, played an important role in um, helping me to get helping me to get into the high school that I'm currently learning.
okay.
Um, yes, I could say that she had a really massive impression. She had a really massive impression on me, and I would never forget her because of all the efforts and all the help that she had made for me.
I see. Now, so Mr. Is math difficult for you to learn?
yes, in my opinion, I think math is difficult for me to learn. I don't think I'm good as something like calculations and and show problems. Math needs on of kinds of skills. As in Vietnam, math even more difficult for students to learn because it's if it's sometimes not suitable with their uh, age.
Hmm.
Like I don't know in
Okay, try to
others.
focus on the question, okay? Don't go too far. This is only part one, you remember? Okay, so do students learn math in high school? High school here means junior high school to cấp 2. Junior high school means like secondary school in Vietnam. Senior high school, it's grade 10, 11, and 12 in Vietnam, cấp 3. So do students learn math in high school in Vietnam then, Miss Trúc? Try to stay focused, okay? Don't go too far, it's only part one. Đừng có đi lan man quá nha, mới part one mà.
Student Yes, of course, students learn math in high school in Vietnam. Exactly, students learn math in the early age when they
The
go
early age.
in the early age when they are go to kindergarten. I think that's and the more they grow, the more class they attend, math become more and more difficult.
Okay. Right. So, Miss Chiao, do you like to use a calculator or you just calculate in your head?
Well, I would prefer to, well, I would, normally as I've mentioned, I'm really slow at learning math, so I usually use a calculator for faster calculations instead of just calculating in my head. The calculator is really convenient whenever it comes to um, complicated math exercises, and whenever it's difficult to do any normal calculations. So for me, I like to use a calculator.
Okay. So, Miss Chiao, do you think it's necessary to learn math or it's absolutely unnecessary? Because you know, a lot of people they say, why you have to learn math? Do we actually need it? Something like that, you know?
I
Because now
actually
we
say
have
that all the
computers.
time.
So do you think it's necessary to learn math?
Uh, well, personally, I think that it depends on um what careers they are pursuing. Um,
Hmm.
mm, of course, learning math is really essential, especially in from kindergarten into high school, because you still have to attend university. So I believe that especially those who are in the accounting major, I believe that math is really necessary. Um, Talking about other majors in university, relating to literature, something like that.
Second. Okay, let's do that last sentence again. What did you say for the last sentence?
Talking about
Yes.
talking about other majors not relating to math. I think it's not really necessary um for them to use math when they are learning that major, but still I believe that learning math is really essential in order to pass different exams at school.
I see. So, Ms. Trúc, what can people do with math then in their daily life? Like, for example, can you just use math when you go out and go to the supermarket, something like that? You know, basic math or some advanced math, something like that, you know? What can people do with math?
I think math is quite practical in real life,
Hmm.
but you can use it in a basic
Use it. You can
way.
use it. You can use it.
You can still
Use
use
it.
it.
Use it. Use it. Use it. Use it. Use it.
You can use it in a very basic way.
Use it. Keep a use it.
use it.
Âm it á, chứ vậy âm ik đâu. Use it. You
Use
can
it.
use it.
You can use it
Okay.
in a very basic way,
Mhm.
not as difficult as solving a particular equations. And as you say that you can use it in buying and selling goods. You when you go to markets or supermarkets to buy anything, you need to calculating the money.
Calculate. You need to calculate.
Calculate. You need to calculate the bill that you have to pay. And if the sell or
If the seller it's cheating on you, you know
if the
that.
selling yes cheating or just they have a mistakes.
Oh, they make a mistake. Or if the
Yes.
seller made a mistake, then you know.
Cars.
Interesting. Now, so let's move on to part 2 now. We have lingered on too long here. Okay, so 48. Okay, 43. Okay, let's do some part 2 and part 3 now, shall we? Okay, first, where is it? Okay, we did 12 before. Okay. So Miss Zhao, you're still a student, right? Can you do this? Can you do this one? Describe a company that employs many people. Because you are still a student, I'm not so sure if you can do this. What do you think, Miss Zhao?
Khả năng này em không biết đâu thầy.
Really? Okay, but actually, if you are still a student, then probably you can say that, yeah, let me choose, please choose another topic, something like that, but you can only do it once, okay? Cái quyền của người đi thi IELTS speaking đó, nó được quyền lựa lại câu hỏi khác nha. Nhưng mà được một lần thôi. I mean, that's your right as an IELTS candidate, exam candidate. You can ask the examiner to choose something else for you because you are still a student, you're not working yet. How about you, Miss Trúc? Are you sure you can do this one?
It's okay.
I think so, but now let's just do this one for Miss Trúc now. Okay, describe a company that employs many people. Miêu tả một công ty mà người ta thuê mướn nhiều người. So actually, Giao, you can learn a lot from this. Now, so what you should say, what it does, công ty làm gì? How many people it employs? Công ty này thuê mướn bao nhiêu người? What kind of people work there? Những kiểu người như thế nào làm việc ở đó? And explain how you feel about it. Mình cảm thế nào về công ty đó? And then part 3 of companies. Should big companies be punished more seriously if they break the law? Những công ty lớn có nên bị trừng phạt một cách nghiêm khắc hơn nếu họ phạm luật không? Think about that. A lot of companies these days they try to evade the law. Lách luật đó. They try to evade the law, or even worse, they try to evade tax. Nó gọi là né thuế hay còn gọi là trốn thuế. That's the most common problem. And I think the second common problem is that company, they often exploit their workers. Họ thường là bóc lột sức lao động của người làm công, bóc lột người làm công cho họ. And of course they pay very cheap, you know. They pay minimum wage. They pay minimum wages. They pay minimum wages for their workers, you know. That is a form of exploitation. Nó là một cái dạng mà bóc lột thôi. Trả lương gọi là lương tối thiểu luôn á. And of course, sometimes they ask their workers. Sometimes they will ask their workers to work overtime without payment, you know. Yêu cầu là người làm công phải làm việc lố giờ mà không được trả thêm tiền. Yeah, sometimes they ask the workers to work overtime without payment, and that is really bad. That is against the law, you know. Cái đó là chống luật đó nha, cái đó là phạm luật đó nha. And other time they can actually, what they can do for you is that they ask you to do a long probation period, thời gian thử việc. Em cho thử việc 6 tháng luôn chẳng hạn. Sometimes they ask you to do a probation period for like 6 months. That is against the law, you know. Cái đó cũng là phạm luật nha. Because remember, according to the Vietnamese labor law, think about the Vietnamese labor law. Luật lao động Việt Nam thì sao? Probation period is only about 2 months. Remember that. Thử việc 2 tháng thôi nha. And then the salary during probation period is about, let's say, 80% minimum. Okay, about 80% of the actual salary, you know. Lương thử việc phải cỡ khoảng 80% trở lên so với lại cái lương mà thực tế. Các bạn phải hiểu luật nha. You need to understand labor law, otherwise people will try to exploit you, you know. Không mà con người ta lạm dụng, người ta bóc lột lắm á. And remember, those things are the common thing that companies can do to break the law, you know. And the question say, should they be punished more seriously? Think about the companies. Of course, companies are run by powerful people. Những công ty được vận hành bởi những người rất là có quyền lực, of course. Most of the time, companies are run by very powerful people and they know the law. Sometimes they think that they are above the law. Đôi khi họ nghĩ là họ đứng ngồi xổm lên trên pháp luật luôn á. Sometimes they think they're above the law because they are powerful, you know. So the question is, should they be punished more seriously? Để làm gương chứ. Of course, they have to. I mean, in my opinion, they should be punished more seriously because to set an example. Để làm gương. To set an example. Đặt một cái ví dụ, đặt một cái làm gương gì đó. To set an example. I mean, that's my idea. And you can give more examples like why should they be punished more seriously and why they should not. You know, of course, sometimes I think most of the time they should be punished more seriously, I think. Now, should big companies donate more to charity? Những công ty lớn thường là hối lộ nha. A lot of these big companies, they often bribe the governmental officials, you know. Những nhân viên mà làm việc cho chính quyền thường là ăn hối lộ. Yeah, so they often bribe the governmental officials, you know, in order to do things illegally, you know. Now, so should big companies donate more to charities? Những công ty lớn có nên là quyên góp nhiều hơn cho từ thiện không? To donate more to charities. So, sorry, my mistake. So think about charities, you know. Big companies, they employ a lot of people, and of course, they often make big profits. Remember that. Họ thường là tạo ra những cái lợi nhuận rất là lớn luôn nha. So a lot of money, and then of course, except from, you know, the time when the economy is very bad, but most of the time, big companies, they make a lot of money. Trừ trường hợp là kinh tế kém thôi, nhưng mà phần đông trường hợp là những công ty lớn là kiếm được nhiều tiền lắm á. So think about that. Should they donate more to charities? So should they have the social responsibility, nó gọi là bổn phận xã hội ấy. Should they have the social responsibility to take care of, like, for example, the poor, the disadvantaged, disabled, người tàn tật á, the disabled, người tàn tật, or the elderly, something like that, you know. What do you think about that? Of course, they are rich. Of course, they have the means. So they have the means, phương cách, họ có phương cách để phương tiện. They have the means to do that, you know. So think about that. Now, what are the good and bad things about working for big companies? So I'm sure Miss Trúc can talk about this one. The good thing and the bad thing. What are the differences between big companies and small companies? Ghi lại nha Châu. Cái chủ đề 13 này là khó đối với em lắm á. Just write down and you can learn a lot from this one, Miss Châu. So what are the differences between big companies and small companies? Of course, except from the size. Ngoài cái kích cỡ ra thì công ty lớn, công ty nhỏ khác nhau cái gì? Well, so think about the work environment. Cái môi trường làm việc như thế nào? So think about the work culture. Cái văn hóa làm việc thế nào? So do they often hang out after work hours to have a beer or two? This is something very common in Vietnam, you know. They often hang out after work hours to have a beer. Người ta thường là theo cái giống như là một cái kiểu mà văn hóa lao động á, ở Việt Nam á. Sau giờ làm việc, nhiều người rủ nhau đi uống bia không? You know, if you refuse a lot, then people will not like you, you know. It's like that in Vietnam. So it's like they think that it's a way to build what's it called? The rapport. It's like to build good rapport. This is called rapport. To build good rapport between co-workers, you know. Để xây dựng mối quan hệ tốt giữa các đồng nghiệp á. To build good rapport between co-workers. So this is often happen. And then think about like working for small companies. How about like flexible work hours? Is it giờ lao động nó có người ta có linh hoạt không? Can you go to work anytime you want? Something like that. Can you clock in and clock out at any time you want? Có thể là bấm vân tay clock in lúc đi vô, bấm vân tay lúc ra clock out, bất kỳ lúc nào mình muốn không. Can you clock in? Beep. Xin cảm ơn. It's like that. And then can you clock in and clock out at any time you want? Something like that. Flexible work hours. Think about do you have to wear uniforms or not? Có phải mặc đồng phục hay không? Something like that. And also I think all the companies they have to run deadlines, you know. Công ty nào cũng phải chạy deadline đó, cũng phải chạy hạn chót, đến cái hạn là phải nộp chẳng hạn, run a deadline. Every companies will have to do that these days. But think about small companies, a lot of the time they are not that strict, you know. Những công ty nhỏ thường không có nghiêm túc mức vậy đâu. But big companies, you have to follow a lot of rules, you know. Rules and regulations in the companies. Những công ty lớn bắt buộc mình phải theo rất là nhiều cái luật và cái nội quy bên trong nha. You know, but small companies, it's not that strict. However, if you work for small companies, there are, think about the chance of promotion, cơ hội thăng tiến. Think about the chance of promotion. Think about career prospect, triển vọng công việc. Think about career prospect, because if you work for for big companies, and if you quit, you know, and you can go to another place, and people will be more likely to hire you, you know, because of the reputation of the company. Tại vì cái danh tiếng của công ty á, mà mình từng làm á, nó sẽ giúp cho mình có được việc hay không nha các bạn. Wow, it can also help. Okay. So should companies and corporations, so we have a new word here. Corporation. Đừng có nhìn lộn với từ cooperation nha. It's not the same as cooperation. This one is corporation. Careful. Corporation. Corporation. Okay. Tập đoàn. Tập đoàn. Should companies and corporations have the responsibility to take care of its workforce? Những công ty và những tập đoàn có nên có bổn phận trách nhiệm để mà chăm sóc lực lượng lao động của nó không? I'm sure after whatever I said, you already have an idea, you know? Okay, have some time to think about this one, class. Both of you, okay? All right, so I'm sure this is something not too unfamiliar. That was a double negative. Phủ định đôi á. Double negative. Phủ định kép. Okay, so Ms. Trúc, please describe a company that employs many people. Ms. Chow won't be joining because she's not familiar with this one. Okay, Trúc, please.
A company that I want to talk about is my company, which produce process meat products. This is a foreign company. Product.
Mhm.
It is a foreign company originally from Thailand, with a large scale of several thousand employees, and it has many branches. My branch has just over 1,000 people. There are many roles and positions working together to ensure smooth operations.
Ensure smooth operation. Để đảm bảo vận hành trơn tru trơn láng. To ensure smooth operation.
To ensure smooth operations. I worked in the product research and development department.
Research and development.
Department. A job that is quite interesting and
Okay, focus on what you should say. Tập trung mấy you should say nè. How many people it employ? What kind of people work there? How you feel about it?
And of course, besides of my department, we also need production, sales, and many other ones. I am quite satisfied with my current job because my companies not only pays me a good salary, but also has a good reputation for producing high quality and
producing a reputation for producing high quality.
Good reputations for producing high quality and safe products, which is very important in today's food production market. And that is the reason why I feel proud of my company.
Okay, good. Now, so should big companies be punished more seriously if they break the law? What do you think, Mr.?
I think that the larger company, the raise the consequence of legal violations. Therefore, they should be punished more seriously if they break the law.
If they break the law.
If they break the law. It is really necessary to ensure.
Necessary, I'm down. This is really necessary. Necessary. This is really necessary.
Necessary to ensure they are to be cautious when making decisions that could make them legally accountable,
Yes.
rather than just base a amount of monies as a fine. Criminal penalties should be considered if their violations seriously, which be danger to public health and the financial situations of individual and the nations generally, in general.
What is that? What's the last sentence? What do you say? Câu cuối em nói gì?
I says that criminal penalties should be
Penalty. You mean criminal? You mean criminal penalty?
Penalties.
Mức phạt hình sự. You mean?
Yes.
A criminal penalty should be applied. You mean?
Yes, should be applied if their violations seriously and cause danger to public health and the final situations of individual in particularly and the nations in general.
I see. So what else can you say? Like the reasons, like what crimes big companies often commit. You can also talk about that, những cái tội nào mà những công ty lớn thường phạm phải. So what crimes do big companies often commit? To commit a crime, phạm tội. So what do you think? I told you a lot before,
I think the most
here do a lot of things,
I think the tax evasions is the most it's the most crimes that they usually do to I think tax evasions is the most crimes that they commit, because the more larger company they are, the more tax they have to pay.
Of course.
So they have some tips to make their tax become less than the reality.
Reality, you mean?
Than reality.
You mean to make the task less difficult than the reality, you mean?
Yes.
Không hiểu. I don't understand the last thing. Can you do it again? Can you do it again? Vẫn chưa được. Cái câu cuối là cái gì ấy? Nghe không rõ. I mean, I'm not so sure what you're saying is correct or not. Let's try that sentence again.
Because the more the largest company they are, the more tax they have to pay. So they have some tips to make their profits become less than in the reality. In the paper, yes.
You mean on paper?
On paper, yes. On paper. Yes, and that make their task that will be less, and that's a way to evade tax.
Evade tax, yeah.
And besides of that, many companies have employed their workers by many ways. For example, they don't pay for insurance of their workers, and even they force them to work overtime without payment. And if their worker don't agree with that, they force them to quit their job without tiền bồi thường.
Compensation.
Compensation.
Tự đền bù, like compensation. Sự bù trừ, bù trả.
Without compensation money.
Okay. All right. So there's a lot of actions that are against the law. So you think that big companies should be punished more seriously, right? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. So next question. Next question for Ms. Trúc now. So should big companies donate more to charity? What do you think?
Charitable works is often obligations for most companies as a community responsibility. However, the amount of donations depends on the company's financial situations and policies. It's not engaged in many charitable activities. Charitable activities is really good for their reputations. And
good for their reputation, correct.
Besides, is beneficial for the community. And of course, it is highly valued by the country's government.
Valued by
highly
valued by the government, you mean?
Yes, by the government.
Interesting that you said that. What else then? And also think about their profits. They have the means to do so, right? They have the workforce.
Yes, if you have a good reputations in the public, you will raise
you can be able to raise your profits, right?
Raise your profits because more people
will know.
Consider in your products.
No. More people will consider buying your products. Considerate là nghĩa khác nha. Considerate means like you think about a lot of different aspects before you make a decision. Suy nghĩ về rất là nhiều khía cạnh khác nhau trước khi quyết định, đó chính là cái tính mà considerate. Giống như kiểu mà biết nghe lẽ phải, biết nghe lý lẽ này nọ, như know. Và nhìn và nhận sự việc bằng nhiều phía trước khi quyết định. So right. So what are the good and bad things about working for big companies? So Ms. Trúc, have you been working for both big and small companies?
Yes.
Oh, so you should know the answer.
Yes. The answers sometimes is very easy. I want to talk about the big companies. First, the big companies structures is usually
big companies. Big company.
The big company structure is well defined and detailed.
Defined and detailed. You mean
defined and detailed, and the divisions of labor is relatively reasonable. I think
relatively reasonable. You mean?
Yes, relatively reasonable. On the contrary, smaller companies have fewer departments, so employees often have to perform multitask.
You mean they have to perform like many tasks, so which mean they have to multitask, right? Phải đa nhiệm. They have to multitask.
beside their job descriptions. When they apply for the job, they have a job description, but of course, they also do more tasks. This can lead to many bad influence. But however, in largest company, promotion can be more challenging to achieve due to high competitions, strict regulations,
Strict regulations
and policy of the company. And it's usually take people from 3 to 4 years to be promoted, unless
to be promoted,
unless one makes outstanding contributions.
Unless one makes outstanding contribution, I agree. Now, so let's just say unless one has made outstanding contribution, trừ trường hợp là một người đã có một cái sự cống hiến rất tuyệt vời nào đó, một cái sự cống hiến mà rất là vĩ đại, phi thường nào đó, or outstanding or extraordinary contribution to the company. For example, you win a huge contract. You help the company win a big contract, giúp công ty thắng được một cái hợp đồng rất là lớn chẳng hạn. Like you helped the company win a big contract. Something like that, you know, you will be able to earn very well. What else then? What else can you compare? How about the work environment and salary, and what can you study? What can you learn from working?
Yes, when you work for big companies, it's hard for creativity, because everything
it's hard
is
for
set.
any form of creativity, right?
Yes, it's hard to creativity, because everything seems to be set up, and you have to work with law and policy, and
You mean you work with a lot of
regulations.
paperwork, right? A lot of tax, a lot of rules, a lot of just a lot of paperwork, nhiều việc bàn giấy lắm luôn á, isn't it?
And smaller companies tend to have more relaxed rules and usually have a more informal atmosphere. I think so.
I see. I see. All right. So what's the, okay. So basically, did you talk about good and bad things?
Yes.
Okay. So how about comparing big company and small companies? What can you say about that?
Like I said, there are some differences between big and small companies. When you work for a big company,
Yes.
you have more responsibility than a small company, because it's about every job need to be well done.
Need to be done well. I mean, need to be done well. Mọi công việc đều phải được thực hiện một cách tốt đẹp. Every job needs to be done well. Okay.
And you have many boss to survive you and check your work. You need really pay attention in every minute in your work time. Because in these companies, the rule is very strict, and if you break the law, just
law.
small
Yeah.
the law,
break the law.
Break the law, just a it, you can be fined very seriously.
Okay, and also it can lead to a lot of damage to the company, potential damage to company if you make that mistakes. I see. Now, so should companies and corporations have the responsibility to take care of its workforce then? What do you think? Because some company, they just don't care if their workers quit, Think about what happens when you when hiring a new worker, companies have to spend efforts and money to train them, So think about that. If people keep quitting, what can happen, All right, so what do you think, Mr. Should companies and corporations have the responsibility to take care of its workforce? Like, for example, if the workforce is sick or they got into an accident in which they cannot work anymore, related to the work, something like that. Should a company take care of them? Something like that, because they have spent a lot of their time contributing to the development of a company, Họ đã cống hiến rất là nhiều thời gian để cho cái sự phát triển công ty chẳng hạn. Thì nếu mà họ bị thất cơ lao động hoặc là họ bị tai nạn xong rồi thương tật không thể lao động được chẳng hạn thì công ty có nên chăm sóc không? So what do you think, Mr.
In my opinion, I appreciate if companies and corporations have the responsibility to take care of its workforce. Of course, because I'm an employee, so I think it's very good. When they hire a new workers, also they have to, of course, they have to spend efforts and money to train them, and they will not really want their workforce is with their job or missed accident in their work. And when it's not luckily to happen, for example, many companies will have a fund for payment for hospital payment for their employees in accidents or sick situations.
Yes.
And of course, it's not always suitable with the real situations of their workforce, because the amount of monies that they are paid sometimes is not enough to cover every expensive, the expense.
Okay.
But I think is quite good enough, because many other companies don't do that for their worker. And the government law also not force them to do that.
So the government law, you mean the law? Just say the law.
Law, yes, the law.
Just say the law does not require them to do so. Không yêu cầu phải làm chuyện đó. The law doesn't require them to take care of its workforce. Actually true, because there's no law like that. Không có luật nào mà bắt buộc là cái công ty tập đoàn phải chăm sóc lực lao động nếu có những trường hợp như vậy cả. Well, I mean some laws do, but it's not compulsory. So most of the time it's just like company have to pay for insurance, health checkup, something like that, benefit package. But in case of an emergency, accident that happened to the worker, công ty chỉ phải trả cái gì bảo hiểm là insurance nè, health checkup, chăm sóc sức khỏe nè, nghỉ thai sản. It's called what's it called? I forgot the word. Maternal leave. Maternal leave. Nghỉ thai sản. Tức là mang thai thì đừng nghỉ bao nhiêu tháng nhưng có lương gì đó. Like if you are pregnant, you are allowed to, if you're pregnant and you're about to give birth to a baby, you can take maternal leave for a few months, you know. All right, so I think it's good enough. Okay, let's move on to another topic now. So, okay. Let's try 14 then. Describe a piece of local news that you were interested in. Miêu tả một mẫu tin tức địa phương mà anh chị hứng thú về nó. It has to be local news, okay? Not international news, không phải tin quốc tế nha, tin địa phương nha. Okay, you just say what it was about. Tin nó về gì vậy? Where you saw, heard it. Bạn đã nghe thấy nó hoặc là bạn thấy nó lúc chỗ nào? Who was involved? Ai đã tham gia vào cái tin đó? And explain why you were interested in it. Tại sao mình lại hứng thú về cái tin đó? And then top 3 of news. So where do people get the news in your country? Ở đất nước bạn, con người ta lấy được tin tức từ cái nguồn nào? Remember, anything that is not printed out, it's on, okay? Like on TV, on the internet, on Facebook, on social media, on the phone, on radio. But if you have to print it out, it's in, okay? Like for example, in books, in magazines, in newspapers, in leaflets. Cái nào mà được in ra là sẽ in. Còn cái nào mà trên mạng, trên TV, trên truyền thông thì nó là on hết. Remember that. Now, so you can also talk about like which one, I mean, at which age group do people get the news from, let's say, radio, you mean like most of the drivers, you know, they get news from radio, or who get the news from TV, who got the news from internet more, the internet more, nhóm tuổi nào có được tin tức từ những nguồn nào khác nhau. Think about that. Now, so what kind of news do people like to read? Con người ta thích là đọc cái loại tin tức như thế nào? So think about, we have a moment, please. It's a new topic now. Think about sports, news about sports, news about like education, healthcare, news about celebrities news, you know, about celebrities, news about new policy, những chính sách mới. And then news about like how can I say, disaster, những cái tin về những cái thảm họa. So news about disasters, like for example, car accident, tai nạn xe cộ, or news about like natural disasters, những thảm họa thiên nhiên chẳng hạn. So what kind of news do people like to read and why do you think so? Tại sao bạn lại nghĩ con người ta thích coi những chủng loại tin như thế? I think about different age groups and sex, you know, that plays a role. Cái nhóm tuổi với lại cái giới tính của con người đó, đóng vai trò cũng khá là lớn trong chuyện người ta thích coi tin gì nha. And also think about their personalities, you know. If they are more extroverted, they would more likely be interested in news about sports, you know, or news about like celebrities, or news about like new policies of the government. Nếu con người ta hướng ngoại hơn, người ta thường có xu hướng là coi mấy cái tin về thể thao, tin về người nổi tiếng, hay tin về những chính sách mới của chính quyền. You know, recently there are news about cryptocurrency, you know. Gần đây là có tin về tiền ảo, tiền crypto, tiền mà gọi là mã hóa. And of course, a lot of people are into that, you know. Now, so how can companies tell the public its news? Những công ty làm thế nào có thể nói cho quần chúng biết được những cái thông tin mới của nó? So, like for example, if your companies have to launch a new promotional event, for example, launch a new promotional event or launch a new product, for example. I have a promotional event, how do you tell the public? Nếu công ty phải đưa ra một cái sản phẩm mới hoặc là có được một cái sự kiện quảng bá chẳng hạn, how do you tell the public it's news? You think about this one, okay? And for example, if you have new, let's say khuyến mãi, if you have a promotion for some products. So the word promotion here means khuyến mãi for some products. Promotional events here means sự kiện quảng bá sản phẩm. Like for example, events in which they often invite like celebrities to open the event. You know, một số sự kiện người ta mời celebrity, người nổi tiếng để mà mở màn sự kiện, to open the event, you know. How do you tell the public it's news? Is it through social media? Có phải là thông qua cái mạng xã hội không? Is it through like video, through like advertisements, something like that, you know, ads, mẫu quảng cáo. And then think about like next question. What do you think of the news on social media? Anh chị nghĩ gì về những tin tức trên mạng truyền thông xã hội? Like, are they reliable? You think they are reliable? Có đáng tin cậy không? Or they are just full of fake news? It's full of fake news or not? And can you believe in those news on social media these days? What do you think about it? And people can make up stories, dựng chuyện lên. People can make up stories to defame others, để mà dìm hàng người khác hay còn là nhục mạ người khác. Những câu chuyện này thấy hoài luôn nha. People can make up stories to defame others or defame like celebrities, hay là làm dìm hàng, nhục mạ những người nổi tiếng như thế. You know, a lot of these are called online dramas, you know, những cái thị phi trên mạng. We call online dramas. All right, so what do you think about public shaming or fake news? Bạn nghĩ gì về cái chuyện mà gọi là public shaming? Việc làm nhục tập thể. Public shaming or fake news hay là tin giả. Why is it like few news? I wrote fake news. All right, what do you think about public shaming or fake news? Think about cyberbullying. I told you this one before, right? Cyberbullying, việc bắt nạt trên mạng. You know, people often do that to harm the others, you know, or sometimes to scam the others, to scam people, để lừa đảo người khác, lừa người khác. Nhiều khi dựng chuyện nó lừa người khác có thể nha. Sometimes they can make up fake news, not to destroy, not to defame others, but to scam others, you know. Nó dựng chuyện lên để mà nó tạo ra những cái sốt ảo để lừa người khác chẳng hạn. Okay, so these things happen a lot. So think about it. Okay, you have some time now. Okay, Miss Zhao, your turn to talk about it now. Please describe a piece of local news that you were interested in. Please be careful with the verbs, okay? Cẩn thận động từ nha. Okay.
Well, a piece of local news that I was really fascinated about was about the piece of news in my hometown that a new bridge was going to be constructed that there was a new bridge going to be constructed in order to provide access for people to another city. So I didn't get this news anywhere. I didn't get this news from the television or either the newspaper. I actually heard it from the local people in my area. The news was spread all over the area. So that's why I actually got this news. Um, well, for me, going to that city was really difficult for my family and I because it was really inconvenient as we have to use ferry boats in order to come there. And
To come there.
sometimes
In order to come
to,
there, we had to use something in order to come there. Okay.
to to come there. And sometimes in a lot of occasions, we also had to wait in a line full of vehicles for more than 2 or 3 hours in order to get into that boat. So for me, getting this type of news is really, really made me feel interested about this news.
Okay,
And
good enough, I think. Đủ tốt rồi, yeah, it's good enough. Now, Ms. Trúc, please describe a piece of local news that you were interested in.
Yes, I recently heard a shocking news online about a train accident in a province in my country.
Province.
In a province, province, province in my country.
Okay.
A truck collided with a moving train.
You mean
which
a
was-
truck? You mean a truck
truck.
collided?
A truck
So
collided.
you mean a truck collided?
Collided
They collided with a train,
with
right?
a train, a moving train.
You know, I think it's time to retire those trains. Đến lúc cho mấy cái tàu đó nó về hưu là vừa. I think I'm just okay. This is dark humor. Okay. Okay. So okay, what did you say about a truck collided with a train? Yeah.
A train, yes, resulting in serious consequences with many people injured and some killed.
Injured. Many people injured or killed.
Or killed and some killed. Unfortunately, a young man who lost his life while trying to protect an elderly person who was near the near the yes, near that. This news caught my attention due to its seriousness. Such incidents are quite rare because trains have their own dedicated tracks and always have warning signals.
Warning
signals and barriers when passing through residential
areas. But you know that truck drivers in Vietnam, they are notorious because they often use drugs, right? Những người mà lái xe tải Việt Nam là khét tiếng cái vụ hay xài ma túy luôn á. They are notorious because they often use drugs. And when they are not sane in their head, and when their head doesn't think clear, so basically when they don't think clear in their head, okay, they can slam into things, you know, they can collide with anything. Very dangerous. Okay, why were you interested in it?
I feel it grabs my attention because it's really serious. I feel that sometimes people are too neglect and
You mean negligence? People are so
negligence.
negligent.
Negligence.
Negligent. Sometimes people are so negligent. Con người ta cứ giống như là bỏ qua. People just neglect a lot of things. Sometimes people are so negligent, you know.
And lack understanding about safety regulations on the road.
Safety regulations.
Safety regulations on the road.
Safety regulations on the road, you know. Những quy định về an toàn trên đường bộ. Yep.
And when accident happens, the consequences not only affect those directly involved, but also impact emotions, bystanders.
You mean they also impact the emotions of the bystanders?
Emotions. Yes.
Bystanders means là những người vãng lai, những người xung quanh. Yeah, the people who witnessed that, you mean. I say, okay, so Miss Chow, where do people get the news in your country?
People in Vietnam can get the news from different sources. For example, in the past, people usually got the news from the television or through newspapers. But in society nowadays, people can now get new information through social medias or from the online newspapers on the internet. Well, of course, they still keep their habit of getting the news from television, but it's more common for people in society nowadays to gain information through a lot of articles on internet or any online newspaper.
Okay. Right. Okay. So what do you think, Mr.? What kind of news do people like to read?
In my opinion, people like to read news about sports, celebrities, and disasters events. Sometimes political news are also there considered news, especially when happens important vote who become the president or head of state, something like that. I think people not interested in reading traditional and formal news. They instead of that, they love reading love reading fake news because it's very hitting.
It's very fitting, you mean?
Giật gân, nó rất là giật gân.
Well,
Yeah.
you can talk about like it's sensational headlines. Ever heard about it? Những cái tiêu đề mà nó giật gân, gây ra cảm xúc mạnh mẽ con người ấy. It's called sensational headlines or spine chilling news, những cái tin tức mà lạnh sống lưng. Spine chilling news, something like that, you know.
Yes.
You know, they often do that these days. Anything else?
About celebrities, many people want to know more about their private relationships, and that should be respected. But nowadays, published published people don't show their respect to celebrities so much. They think that they have rights to know everything about them without place private environment for them.
Right, I see. So, Miss Zhao, how can companies tell its public its news then? Oh, sorry, I think I should ask this question for Trúc. So, Miss Zhao, what kind of news do people like to read then?
People like to read different kinds of news. It also depends on the age groups that are interested in any specific kinds of news. For example, regarding the youngsters, they tend to be interested in the celebrity news, and the information talking about fashion, education, um, or something which is more contemporary in society nowadays. Um, Whereas the older age, the seniors, they tend to um, read read the news regarding the global disasters situations, or any finances problems. They also love to find more information about the celebrities, or the celebrities private life, or any dramas on the internet. Well, of course, both of these age groups uh love both of these kinds of news.
Mm.
Um, but of course, it still depends on the tendency of people in different age groups that loves to read these news.
Okay. Right. Okay, so Miss Trúc, so how can companies tell the public its news then?
There are many ways to publish their news. I think that running ads in the social medias is a very good and cheap ways, and it's the most widespread way to advertise. When a person visits YouTube or Facebook, they will see ads.
Facebook.
Facebooks.
Facebook.
Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. They will see ads that run for 2 to 3 seconds, and they can skip. That's the ways companies publish their news. Besides of that, they can launch new products or have promotional events to make their products come near to the public. But however, I think social medias is the best way to do that. Many people use software websites and online every minute, every seconds, and that and thanks to apps, they can know early and effectively about their products.
Okay. Right, good. So, Miss Zhao, what do you think of the news on social media? Are they reliable? Are they fun? Are they entertaining? Something like that.
Talking about the news on social media, from my perspective, I could say that it's the most confusing place people could ever been. Because most of the information on these social medias on social medias are not confirmed, and most of them tend to be really unreliable. They can be fake news or um like one typical example is the news talking about the death of someone of someone. It could be anyone on social medias, and uh these news are can really affect other people um understandings about a lot of situations, and this could lead to a really massive misunderstanding between a lot of people uh, because of the rumors spread on the news, that it depends on the extent of the rumors. If those rumors are really well known, they could easily believe these rumors, um, regardless of whether it is confirmed or not. So it's really, social media is not really a right place to believe, especially finding the information. For me, I think, yeah, the television news, the daily news on um the television could be more reliable instead of getting the news on social media.
I see. All right. So, Drew, please, what do you think about public shaming or fake news? These things happen quite often online these days. So, what do you think about them?
I think that's truly terrifying
Terrifying.
because terrifying because behind the virtual screen is a real life. And many people nowadays, they don't care about that. They hide behind
Fake accounts.
Their virtual accounts,
Virtual
accounts
or fake account. Yes.
presenting a person very different from how they live in the reality. Often just
Reality.
reality, often judging and insulting others.
Mhm.
Public shaming is a very terrible active actions. But of course, the online environments is not outside the law, and cyberbullying is it should be punished very seriously. Should be punished seriously.
Mm-hmm.
And besides that, fake news is also problems that should be considered. I think that the news is a mix of true and false
A
information.
mix. Cẩn thận âm cuối. It's a mix of.
A mix.
Mix.
A mix. A mix. Is a mix of true and false information. Is often unreliable. It can be entertaining to listen to, but it should not be treated as stressed, especially political news, which is very sensitive and could lead to bad influence for who spread them. I think.
Okay. All right, good. It's good practice today. Okay. So class, we can end it today here.